Aggie Volleyball opens up their season this week in South Bend, Indiana at the Golden Dome Invitational. Adam Young with the head coach, Mike Jordan, 20th year head coach. And it's the start of a new season. Great competition, coach, this week in South Bend. You start with Rhode Island. You finish off with Notre Dame, two really good programs, and then Valparaiso in between.
Yeah, it's a challenging schedule, obviously. We wanted to do that with the senior group we had, and you learn a lot about yourself when you play these teams. Rhode Island's picked to finish third in the A10. It's a pretty good conference, and that'll be a tough opening match. But and Valpo, a new member of the Missouri Valley who we played last year, has got some solid players returning. We're familiar with them, and we got a shot at winning those two matches, obviously. Notre Dame presents a little bit bigger challenge on their home floor, obviously, but we don't want to schedule things if we don't think we can win, and that's kind of our attitude going into it, is get after it and see what happens.
Notre Dame is the third and final match of the weekend. Do you have to tell your kids don't overlook the first two, Rhode Island and Valpo?
I don't think so. We'll talk about that, obviously, but opening weekend, anything can happen. It's the weekend where you see the most upsets. 2 years ago, we had a great team led by Gwen Murphy, and Arizona State was nationally ranked, and we played them right out of the gate and barely lost in five. So a lot of crazy things can happen opening weekend, and I think we'll just go one match at a time like we always do and be prepared as we can.
We'll see a few freshmen on the floor right away on Friday. Leah Mosher, Brielle Stearns in particular.
Yes, you will.
Do you worry about the bright lights for them out of the gate?
Of course. We always talk about leaving a little bit of yellow puddle somewhere out on the court. When you're a freshman, it's just a different deal. They're going to have a lot of moments of anxiety and pressure and stress. And I think we've got enough veteran presence, though, where we're not going to have to ask them to do too much too early. And hopefully by, halfway through the first set, they'll start to calm down and relax. But don't be surprised if, Brielle Stearns doesn't go back and hit her first serve, into the 15th row of the seats. The adrenaline gets pumping, and it's tough to control it. So we're going to have some mistakes. We just got to work through it.
On the flip side, you have so many seniors, and everybody's back from last year. So is your team further ahead right now than where you were at this point last year and the last couple of years?
Yeah, no question. I feel really good about what we're doing offensively. We're still a little high air out of system. That's a concern, obviously. When you're scoring points for the other team, that can be problematic. And I think that this team's really got a grasp on that, though. We're working hard at making changes and finding combinations that work. We've got a rotation of about 12 people that we think can play. I think you'll see pretty much everybody on that travel roster, they're going to play at some point over the weekend.
Finally, Coach, you always schedule tough, and that's the same this year. You have Notre Dame this weekend, UCLA, UNLV, North Dakota at home next week. Yeah. Schedule's loaded again, isn't it?
It really is. And, it's easy to pick out the Notre Dames, the UCLAs, the Arizonas of the world, but you've got North Dakota, who's the defending Big Sky champion, and they return everybody. They gave Minnesota a little bit of fit in the NCAA tournament last year. Illinois State's a really good team out of the Missouri Valley. It's just you look at it over and over, and you're seeing a Rhode Island, for instance, that these teams can beat a lot of good teams. And so we're going to have to play our A game as often as possible, and hopefully it'll be good enough.
Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
That's Aggie head coach Mike Jordan. The Aggies open up this week Golden Dome Invitational in South Bend, Indiana.